Welcome to My Daily Thread. It's a great little place to get a snippet of wisdom from the yoga and the meditation masters to start or to end your day. I'm Jeff Lichty. All right, friends, welcome back to My Daily Thread. Here we go. We are still talking about 217. I wanted to move on today, but in truth, I don't know. There's something that's niggling me about 217. There's this idea when we're talking about the drashtṛ and trying to get to our own true nature. Remember this sutra, drashtṛ dṛśya yosai yoga heya hetuhu. We identify with that which is our experience, that which is the scene. It's everything that's around us. It's the Prakṛti, if we use Sāṅkhya words. And we don't identify with our true nature, our pure consciousness, the true capital S self. We talked about yesterday how, we need to be mindful of our thoughts and our emotions and our roles and our experiences. We need to be responsible or mindful of the attachment that we have to our status, that elusive thing that comes and goes, to our possessions. Again, that elusive thing that comes and goes. I was reminded about a wildfire up in Jasper, a great national park near our place in Canada here, where it wiped out whole communities. And they have a response team set up now for helping people deal with the mental suffering of having their whole life wiped out. And I am not downplaying the effect of that at all, not by any means. But our possessions are not who we are. That's what Patanjali is saying. And even our emotions, whether I get sad about losing our stuff, it's this weird feedback cycle of suffering that comes without us really understanding that we are attaching our worth to something that is not truly permanent. The thing I wanted to talk about today about 17 is I want to talk about our relationships, because one of the things I've been reading a lot about is that the quality of our relationships makes the quality of our life. And whether that's with your lover, your partner, your friend, your husband, your wife, your son, your daughter, whomever it is, your colleagues, the quality of our relationships is really important to our mental health, our longevity, and our overall sense of well-being. So when we think about these relationships, and I use the word love very generally here at the moment, when we think about our loving relationships that we have with the most important people in our lives, this concept of vairagya that we got way back from chapter 1, verse 12, abhyasa vairagya, that idea of detachment or non-dependence, is really important. So it comes into this sutra when we're trying to figure out who am I really without my relationship. So having this ability to detach slightly is really important. And it's about learning to love without losing yourself in the process. Having had a couple marriages, I understand about that. And you let me own this. I have to get past this. This is no longer the way to move forward. So there has to be love without clinging to a specific outcome. That's when love is most beautiful. It flows freely. It's not weighted down by expectations. But when anxiety gets in because I'm attaching myself to an expectation, then I get defined by the expectation rather than the actual truth of my being and my, quote, loving. I guess why I think with 217, relationships are such a good workshop for us to really understand that often we get identified with the relationship rather than with who I am. So I am acting out of the expectation of the other person or myself, or some cultural expectation of what relationship should be, or a familial remembrance of what relationships were. And we need to allow ourselves to start to identify from the deepest part, from the drashtṛ, tada drashtṛ, remember, from our own true nature. But what does that take? It takes time and it takes some security. And I really believe you can only get that in silence. I believe that you have to spend that time by yourself deeply. Now, some people can do that running. Some people can do that just living their lives. I personally have to spend time in meditation, sitting quietly, not moving, stopping my body, letting my mind run wild and free, and deal with the nonsense that comes up from that. And then that's how I'm going to start to understand my expectation around the emotions that I'm feeling in relationship of any kind. I think true loving, coming from the deepest place within, has nothing to do with the person that you're giving the love to. Whether they reciprocate that love, that's not really that important. And even as I say that, I can feel the fear arise within. And there's the workshop that we all have available to us. Ooh. Learning to love in all situations with an open heart and with the wisdom of the capital S self, which is already complete, is the journey to understanding our own true nature. But it's sure easy to think about that romantic comedy, Jerry Maguire, where Tom Cruise tells Renee Zellweger, "You complete me." Oh my, I do not think Patanjali would approve. This is the... Woo, I have gone off today. I'm like way over. I hope we can fix this in the edit. All right, friends. As always, I love having you as a listener, and that's coming from my capital S self. Om, peace out. As a post-show note, I have a few spots that opened up for new private clients. So if you have any desire to learn some practices and integrate some of these teachings, get in touch with me, www.jefflichty.com, and fill out the contact form. Peace out.